It's Christmas 2024. Today is Christmas Eve. All the decorations are up. The tree looks beautiful. The presents are wrapped. The food is in the oven and the house smells great. The family has come in from out of town. All of their kids are here. We're all set up for a beautiful holiday. My family and I are getting ready to head to church and celebrate what this season is truly about. And the kids, they're all excited for Santa to come tonight. But it didn't always look like this. Usually, on a day like this, I was 6 to 8 drinks into the day by noon. I was well on my way to a 3-day bender, and I had no idea of what kind of damage I was doing to the integrity of my family by skipping Christmas. The heavy drinking on the holidays, whether it's Thanksgiving, Christmas, or New Year's, the kids see that. They see that version of you. And I bet if you asked any of my kids, the ones that can truly remember, what was dad like on Christmas? What was dad like on Thanksgiving? What was dad like on New Year's? It wasn't good. It was not present. It was in a comatose state. I'm not proud of that. And that's why I want to give you guys 6 tips on how to stay sober this holiday season. Okay, grab a mop because today we're cleaning up the mess. Has life gotten off track? Are you looking for some inspiration to be a better dad? People say all the time, I'd die for my kids. Okay, but would you live for them? Actually live? Get yourself healthy? Make better choices? Eliminate distractions? Would you lead them more intentionally? Would you get sober? Take better care of yourself, physically and mentally. You'd only have to die once. Your kids don't need you to die for them. They need you to live. Have you thought about getting sober, but you just didn't know where to start? If so, welcome to the Domestic Dad Podcast, your go-to destination for candid discussions on journeys into sobriety, parenting, and personal growth. I'm Nick Barnett, founder of the Domestic Dad Project. I've been a dad since I was 18 years old. I'm also a trauma survivor, an alcoholic, divorced, happily remarried, hardworking, humbled by life, domestic dad. On this podcast, you'll find interviews with people who have walked that path, including myself, coaches, mentors, and pastors who can help guide you on your journey. You're going to need resources and inspiration. You can find that here. This is the community for you to lean into so you can start living life as a domestic dad. So let's grab a mop and start cleaning up the mess. I can remember a few years ago when the thing I was looking forward to the most about the holidays was having days off of work and being able to drink throughout the entire day and slowly fade into a blacked out state where I thought everybody was having a good time, but I was the one that was kind of ruining everybody's night. I wasn't present for my kids. I had no idea that I was shitting all over their holiday. So I guess the real question that everybody probably has is, does an alcoholic know what they're doing while they're doing it? And I can speak from experience here. We don't realize it because we are too caught up in what we think we've earned for the holiday or what we think we want to do. An alcoholic truly doesn't realize what they're putting the rest of their family through. I've been thinking about this episode for a while. And I should have dropped this episode before Thanksgiving because I feel like Thanksgiving is the jump off holiday. And that's typically where you have enough wine or you have enough drinks. There's the day before Thanksgiving where everybody gets together and goes out, and then we all head into Thanksgiving Day hungover. Typically when that happens, when you're tired and then you get drunk again, and you're around family and maybe you don't have the same political beliefs, or maybe there's something that's just been rubbing you the wrong way for years. And it all comes out once you have a few cocktails or a few drinks or a few glasses of wine, and you tell somebody how you feel about them. And that can really blow up in your face, especially with family. And anytime that you've got extended days off during the work week and it's an opportunity to stay up a little longer and drink a little bit more without the pressure of having to go to work tomorrow, you tend to take it a little bit too far. My holidays were always sprinkled with some of the best memories that were eventually ruined by my inability to keep my thirst for euphoria generated by alcohol in check. There was a term that Gary Kroger referenced in his episode, anesthetize. And that is exactly what I was always trying to do during the holidays. Because the holiday was finally here. And now I got to cut loose and let it rip. Because I was, in the words of Joey Rains, entitled. I earned this. Tip number 1, you have to plan your holiday gatherings with sobriety in mind. Plan your work and then work your plan. I don't go anywhere without making sure I do a little sobriety check with myself before I go anywhere now. But if you are new to sobriety, if you are not used to walking into a room and having a non-alcoholic beer or something that you enjoy drinking at the ready and knowing that it's going to be there, if you're not prepared for that, man, as soon as you walk in somewhere and somebody's got a glass of a nice bottle of wine or a good craft beer or a cocktail that you don't typically get to drink because it's seasonal, your desire to pull the trigger and take a drink is gonna go. Percentage that you take a drink if you're not prepared to be sober that day is pretty high. You have to prepare. So I would tell you to do a few things. Number 1, attend only events where you feel confident in staying sober. If you're unsure, consider skipping that deal, or just make sure that you have an accountability partner there. If you're going with your wife or your significant other, your girlfriend, whoever it may be, your buddies, make sure that they know, that person or those people know that, hey man, I'm really trying to stay sober. So if I want to take off or if I get triggered, I might just shoot you like a look, or I might be like, all right, man, I got to go. And if I do that, please don't bait me to stay. Don't say, hey, 5 more minutes. Don't do that. Make sure that your accountability partner is in the know on the fact that you need to stay sober, or that the rest of the people at the party as to where you're going know that you're going to stay sober as well. And if you need to go, just have an eject button ready if you need to use it. Bring your own like festive non-alcoholic drinks. Sparkling cider, a mocktail. I like non-alcoholic beers. I will make a recommendation to all the listeners right now. Sierra Nevada has this thing called Hop Splash. There's no alcohol in it, and it does still taste a little hoppy. Really good for the holidays. And they have different flavors like citrus, blood orange, stuff like that. So if you have something in hand to avoid like questions as to, hey, what are you drinking? Oh, hey, you're not drinking. Or, hey, those types of things, make sure that you just got something at the ready. Tip number 2, get used to telling people that you're not drinking. I know it sounds weird, but the key here is practice saying, I'm just sticking to my favorite holiday punch tonight, or I'm just sticking with these tonight, to just deflect offers of alcohol. Because what's going to happen is your uncle, who doesn't know that you're sober, is going to come up to you and he's going to be like, fireball shot, it's the holidays, let's be jolly. And that one drink can just set you in motion. And me as an alcoholic, if I had one drink, it would be game over. I can remember I was up at my folks' place in Prairie du Chien. They have this whole community that they're friends with up there, and they all drink. One of the guys came over to me last summer, and he didn't remember that I was sober. He offered me a drink, and it looked awesome. It was this caramel apple shooter. And like instantly I was like, man, I would really like to drink that. But you have to be prepared to say no. You have to be prepared with that. No, I'm good. No, man, I'm sober. Remember? And then smile about it and don't make them feel bad for asking you. You never want to do that. Just have that at the ready. So when the opportunity arises to drink, that you are prepared to say no. Tip number 3, create a sober tradition. This helps. New traditions can replace old ones that involve drinking and making the holiday more meaningful. You guys, it's one of those things. Like, I have so many holiday traditions, and I feel like every single one of them revolved around Flippy Cup, Christmas cocktails, Christmas parties at the house or at other people's houses where we'd belly up to their bar, kitchen counter, and we'd pour heavy drinks. And the thing about going to people's houses and drinking and pouring your own drinks is that you are always way more generous when you can pour your own. Yeah. Create a new tradition to replace the old ones. Host a sober Christmas movie night with snacks and hot cocoa. That's a real thing that you can do with your family or other people that have kids. Be like, hey, we're going to do it. We're going to do a sober one. We're going to throw on Home Alone. We're going to watch Home Alone 1 and 2, and we're going to make some mocktails or some punch and just do that. Have something that you can look forward to on the calendar, though, and make sure that takes up the place of the old tradition that maybe you were going over to somebody's house or maybe you were going to host a party at your house, and just replace that time on the calendar with something that's more sober centric, if you will. Tip number 4, have a backup plan for triggering situations. Holiday celebrations often involve family dynamics or environments that can be stressful. You know what I'm talking about. Political conversations, things that happened in the past, trudging up old memories, seeing people that maybe you have a shady history with. You know what I'm talking about. If you're an alcoholic and you're listening to this podcast, you know what I'm talking about. And that stuff can get in our emotions and manifest behavior, not just from yourself, but from other people that gets really uncomfortable. So for those types of situations, have a backup plan. Maybe drive yourself to some of these gatherings so you can leave if you feel uncomfortable. Identify like a quiet space at the home or wherever you're at so you can take a second and get a break. Just do some box breathing, some emotional regulation, something that you can just recenter and get away from the madness of it all as it comes on you. And then the other thing is set up a check-in system with your accountability partner or a trusted friend, somebody that you've kind of established that kind of a relationship with. Send them a text beforehand and after the event so you can process what happened at the event and just kind of go through it and have something to look forward to in terms of hey, here's what I did to be successful in this situation and stay sober. Tip number 5, you have to prioritize self-care during the holiday hustle. This is one of the most important things. When you give yourself to the holidays, which I know me as a parent, I do today, my wife does, a lot of the people that I know are all in on the holiday hustle. We have to be here, then we have to be here, then we have to go to church, then we have to be here. The food has to be made. We have to come home. We have to clean up the mess. We have to, the list goes on. So during all of that, you have to schedule some downtime for yourself. Take a nap. Make sure that you can, take a break and scroll through your phone, so you're not always just going from one conversation to the next, being overwhelmed and then ping-ponging all over the place. You have to take some downtime for yourself. Create a peaceful holiday playlist on your phone so you can just enjoy some nostalgic Christmas carols or some music that just puts you in a better state of mind. And then the other thing is treat yourself to some relaxing holiday activities, like just taking some time to go for a drive and look at the lights, or asking your kids how their day was. Be present with your children in these moments and don't shy away in terms of like your downtime from your kids. Your kids need that downtime too. And I can tell you as a parent that sitting down at the end of this chaos and having a conversation with your kids and asking them, hey, what was your favorite part? What was your best memory this year? What made you the happiest? And you're going to be able to remember all that stuff and all the things that were important to them. And guys, Christmas 2024 is here, and it's the last Christmas of 2024 that you're ever going to get a chance to enjoy. So make sure that you take time with your kids and you reflect on what they loved, and that will bake those memories into them and they'll last forever. Tip number 6, focus on the true meaning of the holiday. Redirecting your energy to gratitude, giving, and connection can help you stay present and centered. Reflect on what Christmas means to you, whether it's faith, family, or kindness. Center your celebrations around those values, and you're going to do yourself a huge favor. Make a gratitude list of all the blessings from the past year, focusing on your sobriety and the positive changes it's brought into your life. And then spend time with your loved ones who support your sobriety. Host a sober Christmas holiday morning breakfast at your house. You never got to do that before. A morning breakfast to kick off a day during the holiday season. Everybody's going to be so thankful for that. And they're probably in the back of their head going to be thinking, we never would have got this version of you while you were drinking. So there you go, guys. That's the list. The top 6 tips on how to stay sober this holiday season. As I embark on my 3rd sober Christmas season, I found that doing these podcasts about my struggle keeps me connected and accountable to my sobriety. Drinking never felt like a problem until the end. I believed with everything inside of me that I was in control. I could harness it and still get to work, still be a dad, still be a husband, and still be present. The hangovers were an acceptable consequence, but there wasn't an alternative. It's just the way that it was. I'd tell myself things like, I'm not an alcoholic, so I don't have a problem. If I don't say it, it's not real. Doesn't everyone work with a brutal hangover from time to time? Doesn't everyone have a little trouble piecing together the details from last night? Didn't everyone sneak a pour occasionally when people weren't looking or take a little rip off the bottle? I did. Isn't it okay to start off the day with a little hair of the dog? As I reflect, I get in my feelings about how foolish I was about my problem. I literally pretended that the damage I was doing to my body didn't exist. I believed that the heartburn, the nausea, the mental fatigue, and the bloating would just pass, and my body would fix itself, and I could just keep doing it without any long-term penalties. Man, I was wrong. I feel compelled to do these and get it out there so I can share it in the hopes that it will help someone see their problem sooner, in the hopes that I can save someone the trauma, anxiety, and damage it did to my life and other lives that I touched during those darker times. Because when I look back, that is the nasty reality that I lived in for absolutely no reason at all. The pointless suffering, secret commitment to a substance that was out to steal my happiness and take a piece of my life away from me. Ready to give it my life and control my future for my wife, my children, and my friends close to me, all while pleading ignorance as it cruelly stole from me. I hope that this gives somebody the assurance that life only gets better when you eliminate drinking and any other addictions. It empowers you in a way that you wouldn't believe. It enriches you with hope and confidence. It allows you to see your potential and seize opportunities. I told myself I would quit if I ever felt like I lost control. But then I used it to extend that lie that I was actually in control. I wasn't. Drinking is so dangerous because it does make you think that you're in control. That is the terrifying truth about addiction. So I'm going to part with this. If I could put anything in your heart this holiday season, it would be to give your loved ones, whether that's your wife, your girlfriend, your parents, whoever it is that you're with, your children, give them the holiday season that they can remember for a lifetime. One that's warm, full of love, and full of connection with you, because they deserve it. You deserve it, and they'll remember you for it. If you're hearing this message, you've listened to the entire episode, and for that, I want to thank you with all my heart. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It really helps us out. If you have questions about getting sober, parenting, or personal growth, email Nick at domesticdadproject.com with any questions about cleaning up the messes you've made. And if your question is discussion worthy, we'll feature it in an upcoming episode. Don't forget, you can watch any of these videos uncut and unedited, filmed in my studio from our YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and search for Domestic Dad Project. Also, please follow us on Facebook or share this episode on your social media. You can also join our community by grabbing some merch. It means the world to me to know that this podcast is making a difference in someone's life. And if this episode inspired you to get sober or simply become a better version of yourself, you can claim your free 60-minute coaching session by visiting www.domesticdadproject.com. Let's continue supporting each other to break the stigma around dads reaching out for help, to get our lives on track while navigating the obstacles of fatherhood. Until next time, keep cleaning up the mess.
Got a little too